Hello, my name is Jerold Blain. I'm Benton Paiute. I grew up in Bakersfield, California, and I'm a third-year PhD student here at UC Davis. One quick announcement before I get started. Please remember to sign in. It's really important that we do that. And we're going to get started. So if you missed the announcement, we're going to go ahead and get started, do the first two performers, and then have an intermission, and then come back together. So, good evening and welcome to Reimagining Queer Indigenous Bodies, a night of artistic expression. Before we begin, I'd like to thank our co-sponsors, the Cross-Cultural Center, Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender Resource Center, Natives Empowered Through Unity and Education, Native American Faculty and Staff Association, the Women's Resource and Research Center, Asian Pacific American System-Wide Alliance, the Chancellor's Committee on Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, and Intersex Issues, the Queer Research Cluster, and the Chicano Latino Research Center. We would also especially like to thank Sandy Gomez and the staff of the Cross-Cultural Center, and also Kate O'Hare from Campus Unions for all of their hard work and support for our event. This evening's performance began as a simple idea aimed to celebrate and honor the Native and Two-Spirit communities by creating a space where an entire community can come together to laugh, cry, and hopefully grow through meaningful activity and exchange. But tonight has come more than that. In light of recent hateful events and acts committed here at UC Davis, on our sister UC campuses, and also other institutions of higher learning across the United States, the purpose of our coming together here tonight has become more driven and more apparent. As sad as these acts may be, we are not surprised by their violence or their ferocity. Centuries of colonialism and the resulting systematic oppression in the forms of racism and homophobia have sought to silence our voices and erase our pasts. Violence perpetrated upon queer and two-spirit indigenous bodies has the goal of destroying a force the colonizer views as dangerous, and also destroying the very social fabric from which our nations have been cut. All too often, our own people have internalized occupiers' viewpoints, and some have turned their back on their queer brothers and sisters, both in our urban centers and our reservation communities. Some might question the need for discussion of gender and sexuality within Native and Indian studies. Some might say that such topics should be put aside, with decolonialism and sovereignty taking center stage. We believe that challenging subtler colonial views in these areas is in direct opposition to the ongoing colonial efforts and continuing infringements upon the sovereignty of our nations. On a daily basis, Indigenous, two-spirit, queer, trans, and female bodies are the recipients of both direct and indirect violence in the forms of fists and weapons, as well as systematic and institutionalized oppressions. Tonight, we present you with Reimagining Queer Indigenous Bodies, a night of artistic expression, because we cast off the pressures of colonialism, racism, and homophobia. We refuse to feel shame because some may choose to grasp the colonizer's viewpoints and to forsake their own flesh and blood. We will not be invisible or silent because others might grasp so tightly to the colonial framework that they have been taught to love that they cannot see the inherent beauty of their own societies and so despise them. Tonight, we come together with one heart and one mind. Our thoughts and prayers go out to all of those who are not with us tonight due to illness, distance, fear, ignorance, or for any other reason. We remember our brothers and sisters who are in prison and hope that they are safe and able to be reunited with their families and communities soon. We remember all the living things that sustain us, including the animals, plants, water, earth, sky, and sun. We invite you into this Indigenous space to share this evening with our family. So the order of events, we'll start with Timok Paranda. He'll be our first presenter, and then Marlon Fitzgerald will be second, and then we'll have our intermission. So Timok will be coming up. Their bios are all in here in case